Okay, so today we're going to multiply and divide rational expressions. We'll start first with multiplication. So when we're working with this, the very first thing that we want to go ahead and do is to factor. All right, so to factor this, what you need to look at is the GCF, and we're going to look for the GCF in each of the individual numerator and denominators. So when I go through and rewrite this as in factored form, I have x plus 5 in the numerator. I pull out the 5, and then I'm left with x plus 7. For the second fraction, I want to pull out the 6, and I'd be left with, again, x plus 7. And then in the denominator, I'll pull out the 6, and I would be left with x plus 5. Now, before I go through and cancel this, what we have to talk about is the domain. So for the domain here, we have to ask ourselves what x cannot be. And x plus 7 in the first fraction cannot equal 0. And the other one, x plus 5, also cannot equal 0. And that's because 1 over 0 is always undefined. That leaves us with the fact that x cannot equal negative 7 and x cannot equal negative 5 for both of those. That is true even though I'm going to go ahead and cancel the two x plus 7s and the two x plus 5s and the 6. Now, just be very mindful that even though everything in the numerator is canceled out, when you cancel them out and say x plus 7 and x plus 7 cancel, it means it is equal to 1. So my final answer when I reduce this is that I multiply and it is equal to 1/5 with the knowledge that x cannot equal negative 5 and x cannot equal negative 7. All right, so let's go ahead and divide these two rational expressions. When you are dividing, the first fraction will stay the same. Keep that one the same. Then you want to go ahead and take the division sign and change that division sign to multiplication. And then finally, you want to flip this, take the reciprocal. When I do that, I am left with x squared minus 6x plus 9 all over x squared minus 9 times x plus 3 over 3x minus 9. Now I must go ahead and factor. Remember, before you are allowed to cancel anything, you must factor. So I'm going to factor the numerator. That becomes x minus 3 times x minus 3. The denominator is the difference of two squares, which is x minus 3 times x plus 3. And x plus 3 has no common factor. And then in the denominator, your GCF is 3 times x minus 3. Now I can go ahead and reduce this. But again, remember, before I can reduce this, I have to look at the domain. So the domain tells me that x minus 3 cannot equal 0. Same thing with x plus 3. They cannot equal 0. So the domain, x is allowed to be everything except x cannot equal 3 or negative 3. I can now go ahead and reduce. That cancels to equal 1. X minus 3 and x minus 3 also reduce to equal 1. The x plus 3 and the x plus 3 again equal 1. So all of this here is equal to 1/3. With the fact that we know that x cannot equal negative 3 or 3.